Hello everyone, good morning, welcome to TotalSUP, welcome to Hossegor in the southwest of France. I'm hosting today a very special guest, Mark Travers, the CEO of the Australian stand-up paddle board brand called HONU. Mark is actually launching full-on his operations in Europe, and we are very excited to welcome Mark in our backyard and actually spend the day paddling in different locations in the area. Very welcome, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Mathieu. Thanks for the great welcome. It's wonderful to be in the south of France again. Finally, I haven't actually been in here for about 20 years. Actually, was the last time I was here when I was a little bit younger than I am now.
Here in Hossegor?
Not in Hossegor, but just in France in general. So
okay.
yeah, it's beautiful food. It's just a beautiful place, and actually, it's a lot like home, to be honest. So yeah, it's great to be here. And
yeah, it feels like home, I guess, because of the surf culture in Hossegor and in the whole area of the southwest of France is actually pretty known for surfing.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I was getting off the plane with a few Australian surfers that were coming on European surfing holidays. So yeah, it's very much like home. So it's beautiful. I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah. So I'd like to take this great opportunity to find out more about you, about HONU, the DNA of the brand, the range.
Yeah.
We obviously have some great toys to test and to play with all day long.
Yeah.
But first of all, where are you from? Where did you grow up, and what's your sport background, and how did you get into stand-up paddling?
Yeah. Okay. Well. So we'll try and go over the fast version. So I actually grew up in Tasmania, and I actually, very early on, I actually grew up in a garage. I grew up in my grandfather's garage, actually, and learning to fix things, and that buses and trucks and cars from a very early age. In fact, I had my first set of overalls, I think when I was about 8, and I was in there learning to fix things. And so I come from a very mechanically minded, family, and so I went on to become an engineer, or started out life actually as a technician in industrial sort of engineering, and that led me down a path of engineering, and really, and engineering is all about problem solving, right? So it's a way of thinking, and later in my sort of career, I then started, and I was always a cyclist actually. So my early sports were really cycling. And I started a bike company, and in Melbourne, in Australia, and we specialised in really high-end mountain bikes. And I did that for about 5 years, actually. And then I sold that. That got bought actually by Trek USA. And then it was actually Megan, the other half of HONU, which is Megan, and she decided that we should look to buy a business. And we just so happened to stumble across this little brand that was founded in Bondi Beach by a French backpacker, no less. Yeah.
Every road leads back to France. Huh?
Yeah.
It's a cycling Tour de France as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about trying to get away to move to France. I think that's what it's about. So so we bought the business, and the way that I think about product and longevity, and just the way that I think in terms of quality, I wasn't very happy with what I actually found, and so I set about basically turning it upside down. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, but in essence, we effectively bought the name.
All right, HONU.
HONU, because everything.
Which is a great name.
Yeah,
4 letters, super efficient.
Yes. Which
really
is
nice sounding.
And so for some of the folks out there that may not know, that HONU is actually a Hawaiian word, and it's Hawaiian for sea turtle, and it's a source of good luck and calm spirit, and you can actually be quite HONU, which is to be really chilled out and relaxed. So it's a cool name. Yeah.
All right. So when did that acquisition happen?
So that happened in 2019, and so we ran the brand as it was, untouched, for about 3 months.
Okay. So more of a surf brand, and SUP brand?
We did surfboards, we did fiberglass SUPs, we did a whole range of things. And unfortunately, I didn't video it or take photos of it, but I took a bunch of the products out into did some in the warehouse, but some in my back garden, and I dissected them with a handsaw nose to tail, because I wanted to see what was underneath the surface. And I wasn't very happy with what I found. And so I discontinued everything. And between 2019 and 2020, when we launched the new range, we had no product. And I was like, you know, finding my way through the industry and manufacturing partners. And yeah,
it was also a COVID time, so
yes,
it must have been a scary time for you.
Yeah, yeah. So it was stressful, but I was lucky enough to meet some industry veterans, and they sort of introduced me to various people, and I just sort of found my way, partly through luck, partly through perseverance, to find, you know, good technology partners, good manufacturing partners, and yeah, so we relaunched in 2020. And we've been making, you know, I think good products since then. But I would say that the boards and the paddles that we are now coming through, we've had 4 years of refinement, and we've really dialed up the quality and the finish. And I'm really happy with the new stuff, actually.
Yeah. So Mark, what is your sport background? What did you do before stand-up paddling?
Oh wow, I love sport, and I've always loved sport. So, you know, I consider myself a cyclist, although Sydney has really taken it out of me. But board sports for me probably started as snowboarding. And in fact, when I left Europe and I was making my way home to Australia, and I was mid-20s or late 20s, I wasn't kind of quite ready to go back to, you know, the real world, I suppose, even though I'd worked as an engineer all over the world. So I went snowboarding for 18 months full time.
Wow. That's a bit of a break.
Yeah, it was a bit of a break. And so I was a snowboarding instructor and a ski tech, which I actually really enjoyed. You know, out the back of the workshops, you know, waxing and tuning skis, which again is another technical part of the sport. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. So spent a bit of time as a hardcore snowboarder.
Wow. And that was in Canada?
That was in Canada, and then I did a bit of time in Thredbo, and then I then moved to Sydney with my family, and that's when I sort of started surfing. And you know, the surfing thing for me, I did a bit of surfing back in Tassie.
Tassie, as in
Tasmania, excuse me. Tasmania. So only Tasmanians say Tassie. Funnily enough, they take in Scotland. And freezing, big, heavy surf in Tasmania. There's a famous place in Tasmania called Marrawar, and like Rip Curl and various people do pro competitions down there, but it's big, heavy, dangerous surf. And that was my surfing experience in Tasmania. And I kind of went, I think I'm okay. Sydney's a little bit different, so yeah, I took up surfing there. And still surf and love surfing.
So surfing, I think in your written interview on TotalSUP.com, you mentioned swimming.
Do a bit of swimming and surf life saving.
Right.
I'm in the local surf life saving club, and so I paddle skis. So I raced surf skis back when I was a bit younger, and that's arguably what I do to stay fit. So ocean skis and downwinding. And funnily enough, I've not yet done a single paddleboard competition. I still paddleboard for enjoyment and I guess fun.
Actually, that's one thing that's missing in your range.
Yes,
it's a SUP race board.
Yeah.
Is that going to come at some point, you think?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and it's been requested, you know, a lot. There are probably a few things in our future. You know, Whitewater, which is obviously taking off, I think, and gaining momentum and popularity, particularly in North America. And I think that I hadn't fully appreciated just how big the racing scene is in Europe. I really didn't. And so I came across this little website called TotalSUP.
Good point.
And that really actually opened my eyes up to just how big the racing scene is. So yeah, I think for our lineup,
and it's growing.
Yeah.
In new territories as well, like Central Europe, Eastern Europe is growing crazy. Asia as well is probably the next big thing. Yes, which is closer to you.
Yes. Yeah, and we've got a lot of people in Taiwan and Hong Kong, excuse me, I nearly said that incorrectly, by our Sorrento 12.6. Send a lot there, actually. But I think, racing board and a whitewater board is in our future. And then that just about completes a lineup, I think.
All right. Yeah. So it sounds like you've put a lot of your engineering mind in every single product.
Yeah.
Because I think I unboxed my HONU paddle and board yesterday for the very first time.
Great.
And I thought everything was pretty unique in the packaging, as far as the packaging basically, but also clearly in the product.
Yes.
So it sounds like you've thought through lots of small details and put the customer first in your thinking. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm glad you noticed that, because we do. We design every last detail of everything, down to the box, the packaging. You know, you might have noticed the small biodegradable bags and the way that our products are packed. Mm-hmm. Everything is thought through, and we were actually inspired with the board and the accessories box. We were actually inspired by Apple. And Joel, one of my designers who works with me, we were sort of talking about how can we make that unboxing experience better? Because traditionally, you would open a board and everything's just tossed in and lots of plastic, and you know, it was a bit of an afterthought. So we did that probably 2 years ago. We really thought about how can we make this a better experience, and you know, and those little Easter eggs that we drop for people, like the little message on the accessories box. And
you open the box, you've got "Welcome to HONU." It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I'm glad.
And so I don't know what to start with. If we go, where you're based internationally, because you have a pretty clearly a pretty international setup already.
Yes.
Or the range. What do you want to go first with?
Let's. Do you want to talk about the range? Then we can talk about the range.
Let's talk about your boards. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
So how many models have you got?
So there is there must be. I should have to do a count. So we starting smallest to largest is how the way I think about it. We have our Airly, which is a crazy light kids paddleboard, and it is a scaled down version of a Byron in every respect. Designed for kids of 7, 8, 9, and I think that board weighs like 5 kilos. Like it's mad. And then going up from there, we then go into the Byrons, like in terms of regular paddling. So the Byron is we talk about it being a Swiss Army knife, and that's our most popular product. So if you're only ever going to have one paddleboard in your life, all-round the Byron is the one to go for. And that board itself has been universally a success. In 4 years, nobody has ever sent one back because they didn't like it, not once. Occasionally it happens with some of the more specialist boards because they're a bit harder to, and they require a bit more skill. Byrons are universally loved, so that's our sort of core product. And then from there we go into the more specialists. We've got sort of the Sorrento at one end of the spectrum, which is go far, fast, long, skinny.
More sporty.
And then we've just released our new Bondi, which was quite ambitious. I'd like to say it was ambitious on my behalf, because we'd really started with a blank sheet of paper with a view to make the absolute best surfing inflatable paddleboard possible without compromise. And of all the products we've designed, that one actually took the longest. So that was 18 months.
Sounds like you're pretty proud of that one.
I'm very proud of it. It took a very long time.
That's the one behind.
Just this one here.
Just behind me.
So the fin boxes alone took about 6 months to get right.
Wow.
And in fact, so the boxes on the board you have here, it's version 14. So there was 14 iterations before we actually got them right. So yeah.
Amazing.
A lot of well executed and thought out trial and error, but that was quite difficult. And the challenge with those, just to geek out on the product side of it, is the bottom of those fin boxes are actually 3-dimensionally curved, and they match that board exactly where they are in that orientation. So you can't take those fin boxes off and put them on another board. They won't fit properly. They're all weird.
Just to match the rocker of the board?
Yeah, it matches the rocker of the board. So the fin boxes
the curve line
are holding the rocker in, helping hold the rocker in line. So yeah.
Wow. And there's something another thing special about this board is the fins. The
Yes.
fins are actually high-end, high-end surf fins.
Yes.
Which is unique, right, in the world of iSUP surfing.
Yes, 100%. And so they're a machine Volan fin. So we actually designed the Bondi to be, it's a twin. I mean, traditionally you talk about 2+1, but it's really a twin plus one. And it's a twin because our bite fins are a nice big sort of keeled fin, and they are canted as well. So they're actually made to be on an edge or on the rail. And so they're high performance, and their whole idea is, when you get that board on a rail, the back end of the board's quite stiff, the fin box is quite stiff, and also the fin. So it does actually do a nice bottom turn, and the board doesn't twist or misbehave at all. It's actually, it's clearly, it'll never be fiberglass. We can't replicate that level of performance, but it's pretty close. It's not a million miles away. So
we'll test that this afternoon.
Yeah.
On the ocean.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you had two. Are there more products in in terms of stand-up paddle boards?
We've got a compact board. We've got the Seaton, which people love, and that's got a really, really nice paddle that comes with it. It's got a 4-piece paddle. It has all our hex joins, and again, every little part of that board package has been carefully designed. The paddle is different to anything else out there, and in fact, when you unpack the Seaton and put that one together, that paddle does not move. It still feels very solid, even though there's 4 joins. There's a bit of work in that. So,
all right. So you, in 2024, you're having 2 new product launches.
Yes.
The Bondi.
Brand new board, yep. Bondi and the Sorrento 11.3.
The Sorrento is 2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Sorrento,
we've got them here.
Yeah. So the 11.3 Sorrento is, so the Sorrento 12.6 is quite a large volume board. It's made to carry a bit of gear, and so, for lighter paddlers, and I won't just say females, but lighter paddlers, it is a bit of volume and a little bit too corky. Not to say it can't be paddled, and so the 11.3 was to cater to lighter, paddlers, or for people who just want that sort of quick, sort of day type, faster board. Yeah,
just like we experienced on the lake of Hossegor a few
Yes.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the Bondi comes in 2 sizes, right?
2 sizes, yeah. So 2 sizes. I think that can we call them hardcore SUP surfers? That it is going to be their travel board. They're probably going to be drawn to the 8.8. That's got this sort of a very fun sort of, fun board shape and quite aggressive. And then for people sort of either larger guys that need a bit more volume, or for people just getting into SUP surfing, they're probably going to be drawn to the 9.3. So,
right. Well, thank you for shipping the 9.5. I think that's the perfect one for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's talk about your paddles. You put a lot of effort in your paddle. Actually, you can grab. We can grab them. These are the 2 main models, right?
In the carbon. Yeah.
In the carbon.
Yeah.
Make.
Yeah, so I like everything. It's a lot of work and thought went into this. It's not a generic blade shape. It's obviously you can only do so much with a blade shape, but it's a dihedral blade shape. Not as we have a fairly steep angle, and that just creates a bit more drive actually. And so we're only at 8.5 degrees. Not to get too techie, a lot of sort of run-of-the-mill paddles will be in the sort of 10s to 12s. Makes for a very, very soft catch. So we went with something a little bit more, I guess, arguably more advanced. But and then we've got our hex join, which is something we released last season, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it just creates a really solid
doesn't
connection.
move.
It does not move.
Yeah.
And it obviously cleans up that interface quite nicely from an aesthetic point of view. But yeah, we use pre-preg carbon.
Pretty light as well.
Very light. Everything's pre-preg carbon, all that means is that the resin is, laid into the layers of carbon ahead of time, and so each layer has the perfect balance of carbon to resin, so you get the best mix of strength and weight. When you lay carbon by hand, and you're doing the resin by hand, human nature is to not want to underdo the resin, because if you underdo the resin, you end up with a brittle piece of, I guess you end up with a substrate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're worried about not having enough, you will put more than what is needed. And so what that effectively does is add weight. So that's how you end up with a 3-piece paddle that weighs 620 odd grams.
Mm-hmm,
You know.
mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And two different blades as well. So
Yes.
this is the Evolution Bamboo.
Yes.
And this is Evolution Carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful products.
Thank you.
Let's talk about business.
Yeah.
So Australia is where you started off, I guess.
Yes.
Was the brand established outside of Australia to start with, or did you make the expansion yourself?
Funnily, it was established in Europe, and Europe kept operating separately to us. So when we took on the brand, we basically had the rest of the world, so to speak. So we started in Australia, and we did a season in Australia. Then we launched into North America. And I think I mentioned Megan is American, so we're very connected to the USA. And so we sort of went from season Australia, season 2 we were then in North America, season 3 we were then in the UK, and now effectively season 4 we're now launching into Europe.
You're not watching Netflix, by the way. This is just HONU series.
Yes, season. Yes,
the
season
HONU TotalSUP series.
Yes. And so that for me almost completes what I think is what looks like a global brand. And so our focus now is finding and partnering with really very carefully selected retail partners in Europe and keep doing what we do. All
right. So you've just opened 2 warehouses.
Yes.
One in the UK and one in the Netherlands.
Yes.
So the UK, I guess, the one in Warwickshire, in England is for the UK, the British side, and the Netherlands is for the rest of Europe.
Yes, yes.
How does that work out? Do you already have incoming?
We do. We're actually fully landed. So the warehouse in the UK is actually full.
Okay.
I mean, we've landed our first drop. And the inventory in the Netherlands is just passing through customs now, and that's going to be landed soon. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's mainly one website to actually buy a board or buy equipment.
Yeah. So we have the one website with we've got a French translated site directory within our site.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a German subdirectory within our site, and we break it up into regions. But it's the one website with various sort of subdirectories that sits within it. And then we also have, a very, very small number of retail partners that, and we're continuing to find new retail partners. In fact, there's a new one opening in Maine in the next sort of week or so.
Okay, Maine, USA.
Maine, USA, excuse me. And we're very slow with our retail partners because we're quite particular about the relationship we have with our customers.
Okay.
And it's important that we replicate that as best as we can with any retail partner. They have to care about the customers and provide very good service and after sale care, which obviously we support them with as well. But so you won't see 150 HONU shops pop up. Very, very measured in that regard.
So, what would you say the proportion of boards sold online as opposed to sold through shops would be right now? Probably
90-10.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very, very skewed to us. People enjoy calling us, and they a lot of the times they get to speak with myself.
All right.
In fact, I had a fantastic couple of conversations yesterday with 2 customers, and I'm on the phone and I'm saying, well, you're not going to believe this, but I'm actually speaking to you from the south of France. And they could not believe it. But I personally love it, and I get a lot of satisfaction from speaking with our customers, and it's something I find hard to let go. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I was speaking with the gentleman yesterday. I was saying, so few people call these days. Everyone does messages, instant chats, or any kind of, we get more messages on Instagram than we get phone calls. It's just the modern life, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So I still really enjoy speaking with customers. And
so do I. Actually, every time I call you, you pick up. So
yes,
it's a good sign.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy it. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So right now in the UK,
Yes.
do you have a partner shop you work with?
We do. So we've got one real key partner. It's called OTC, or the Official Test Centre is the name. It actually started in Tenerife years ago. But they've got this fantastic test centre down in Dorset where you can go down there. Not only can you rent gear, but you can actually learn. So they'll teach you how to paddleboard, wing, foil, windsurf. You know, anyone who wants to learn a water sport and is close to Dorset, they really should get down there. And so they're our key retail partner. And so we have them set up with all of our inventory in stock, you know, in the warehouse there. And so if you're in the UK, when you're on the product page, if you go to find in store, you'll find we've got two retail partners listed there. We've got OTC and also wet and dry board sports as well. So, and again, they're just very carefully selected, and we probably may or may not end up with any more because it's about quality over quantity, Mathieu. For us, quality over quantity is the name.
What about in Europe? Are you speaking to anybody yet?
So haven't been speaking to anybody yet. I thought that it would play out like it has done historically, which is we'll enter the market here. There'll be a lot of French shops that may never have heard of us, and they'll see us and get to learn a little bit about us, maybe through this video, and then we'll start to get inquiries. And I think at that point, I'll start to have those conversations, and I'm really actually quite open and keen to find one or two stores in France, I think one or two stores in Germany, and again, those high quality retail partners that care about their customer base, they're the ones I'm always interested to speak with.
All right.
Yeah.
I could see on your website you've got ambassadors back in Australia.
Yes.
Have you got some in the US? Are you looking for some in the UK and in Europe?
We are, well, actually, yes. So this hasn't been mentioned before, but I'm actually looking for a couple of French paddling ambassadors, particularly, given where we are, I would love to find a couple of SUP surfers in the area, and would be able to partner with them to create some content and, get that sort of that grassroots connection into the French sort of scene.
All right, well, TotalSUP will get on the case then.
Yes, fantastic.
Look for some ambassadors. You can start applying through the TotalSUP website.
Yes.
Amazing. So what's the profile of ambassadors you have right now? Is it mainly SUP surfers or?
No, it's a mixture. Yeah,
because I've seen a pretty active SUP surfer.
Yeah.
It's Paul, isn't it?
Paul, yes, Paul, and there's an American guy in Japan that does a lot of content. We've got more ambassadors actually than we have listed on our website. Okay. I'm just a little bit behind with some of our site developments. So we've got Del Ricks, who's a really great guy, and he's a larger, he's not what you think, he's just a larger American guy. He must be like 6'1" or 6'2", and he lives in Japan. We've got a guy up in Cairns. I've got a list of people, but the profile for me is they are passionate outdoors sports people, water people. And historically, they actually have started life as customers. So in France, it may be the very, very first instance where we actually aren't starting that way. So generally speaking, they are just really good people, and they're good for the sport, not just HONU. They're good for the sport. They enjoy creating a bit of content, and they probably share our I guess not our ideals, but share our views on environmental, our values. They share our values, and that's pretty much. I think that's the profile.
So do you think you're going to stay in the stand-up paddle world, or you might open up to other sports? And what about rigid boards? Do you think rigid boards will be back on the catalogue? Never say never. I certainly went down a deep, dark rabbit hole of composite board development. In fact, nobody actually knows this, but the very first pre-production Bondi was actually composite. And I don't have photos of it, but I don't think so. I think we'll stick with paddleboarding, and I think that the composite part of the range will come
I think when we're more established, I still feel like we're a startup. I still feel like we're a challenger brand, and we are completely bootstrapped. I don't know if that translates in some other countries, but self-funded. We don't have venture capital. We don't have big backing. So
it's an organically growing business.
It's organically growing. It's slow. We can't go as fast as we'd like to. But that actually also frees us up to stick to our, very, very, some would say hard-nosed values about performance and weight and minimalistic design. And we're not forced to maybe do things just because we have to hit aggressive growth targets. So, we get to do things the way we want to do it, which is, it's just our way. It's not the right way. It's just our way.
It's the Aussie way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about construction, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
What's inside those paddleboards?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the trouble with paddleboards is you can't see what's gone into them, and a lot of what we do that's quite special is actually completely hidden. And so I guess it starts with our material. So our material is a very expensive material to produce. It's made for us. We don't pretend to own a dropstick factory. We have a factory that makes it for us, but it's to our specification, and it's a very, very light, rigid material. It's a cross-woven material, and for folks who, you hear that a lot, it's thrown around a lot, and the reinforcing threads are crisscrossed very much like carbon fibre. And so what it means is two things, is you can't, when the material is made, you can't press as much plastic into the material. So that's how it ends up being so light. And when the material is forced under pressure, you get that rigidity that's from that crisscross pattern. And so that's why a woven material is not only lighter, but actually stiffer than regular, drop stitch. And the telltale sign out there for folks, there's quite a few, I'm going to just say paddleboards, that will claim to use a similar material. But if you look at the board weights, that's a real tell, because the board weights just aren't right. There'll still be 10, 11, 12 kilos. And that's not a woven material, it just can't be. So that's our material. And the thing that we do that is actually, I guess, exclusive or really our tech is that we are all the new boards that are coming out, we are now welding all of the inner rails. So I think there's another really fantastic brand that I admire that does welded rails as well. And they have tended to weld the outside rail. We've always done the inner rail because, again, I don't know whether it's right, wrong, or otherwise. I believe that inner rail creates that most solid airtight connection. So when we make our first rail, we bond the rail, we inflate it to pressure, we leave it, and make sure it's not going to move or shift for about actually 2 days. And then we do that first 20 mil welded strip that is we do that at sort of 400 degrees, and it's about, the machine runs at about 1 foot per minute. It takes 3 people to do it.
Wow.
And we do both the top and bottom join, and that's a one shot. So you have to, if you mess it up, the board's destroyed. So it takes a lot of skill. And so then we also kind of weld in over the top of a carbon rail. So the Sorrentos and the Bondis have what we call our welded carbon rail, and that creates an extraordinarily stiff rail, but then also very durable. So we expect our boards to last many years actually. So I
can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it. One last thing, accessories.
Yes.
Fins, leashes. I think you're working on I don't know if we can say on this video on some exciting
Be the first to release the news worldwide. Go for it.
Well, I heard you working on a pretty sexy PFD.
We work not one but two PFDs.
Two PFDs.
So we've got two PFDs that are under development, taking us about 3 months to get to the conceptual design stage. And they're like all of our products. Our products share a common thread: highly technical, really advanced materials, and then they have an understated style about them. So I think our PFDs, we've achieved that. And we're gonna be partnering with Cordura, and it's going to be recycled materials. And so I think again, the market will tell whether we're successful, but we think we've made a really, really nice, you know, beautifully, you know, made PFD. That I think people will kind of go, wow, that's nice. But we won't actually see pre-production versions of those for about 6 months. It's a very lengthy process. So,
okay.
Yeah.
One last question. Do you package things up? Paddle?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm actually quite proud to say I was one of the first brands to take out pumps and paddles from the package. So when you buy a HONU board, you get the board, the bag and the fins and a leash, safety leash, because we really want to encourage, you know, safe habits. But then you can pick a paddle, you can pick your pump. So you can pick whether you want a hand pump or you want an electric pump, or in many cases, as it goes, no pump at all, because you already have one. And how many pumps does somebody need?
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, and so
we've got 3 at home.
I have a few more. Yeah, I have a few more. So yeah, so we did that early on, and so not only does that reduce waste, it does reduce the cost a little bit. And you know, our hand pump is a very good pump, and you need 1 per household. So yeah, so you pick your board, pick your paddle, pick your pump, and you build that up. And yeah, that's how it works.
Thank you very much, Mark. We're super excited to have you here.
Yeah.
I think it's time we go try the Sorrento and the Bondi.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
On the shores of Hossegor.
Yeah, cheers. Just had one of the most incredible days, seeing the local sites in Hossegor and the lake, and where else were we? Rivers.
Vieux-Boucau and lakes and lagoon.
And the lagoon, yeah. It's been a wonderful day getting to know the team, and I can't wait to come back and see more.
Thanks for visiting us, Mark. It's been a great day, and next time the sun will be out for sure.
Yeah, awesome. We can go surfing.
And good luck with your European expansion.
Thank you.
You've got a great product, and I look forward to seeing lots of Europeans using them.
Thank you so much.
All right.
See you, everyone.